Hello, friends. Welcome back to New Day with cdnws. I wanted to give you a few updates. We've actually got kind of a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to try to not make this too long of a video. I'm trying to get my camera angle right, but I'm not liking my angle. Anyway, so basically, I actually got everything written on my hand because I didn't want to forget about what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Updates on like William and stuff like that. So last night, William actually had a rough night. A couple of nights ago, he started to where he was like going to bed at like, I think Dad said 3 or 4, and then I have to be up at 5 a.m. get ready for work. We normally leave here around 6 o'clock, and I head to work, and obviously we take them with us. So he's been going to bed at like 3 or 4, and we wake him up so I can go to work, and then he'll normally come back home and take a nap, which obviously, then after that he sleeps almost the whole day. So last night was really bad because he didn't go to sleep until about 4 and then woke up again at 6. And I think he's still awake, and I'll show him to you here in a minute. But right now, biggest brother's in there watching him, so I can do this. But he had a meltdown this morning and everything, and Chris and I were still asleep, but Dad and Aiden was with him, and so he had a bad meltdown, and he's kind of chilled now. But as you've seen in posts and shorts, he's not wanting to take his hoodie off. He'll take his hoodie off when I give him a shower and things like that, and clean him up and everything. But he like the first, was it Monday when I went to work and we put his hoodie back on him, he hasn't taken it off, and he's got his hood back on. So I think that's mainly because of like security. Like I know like security feelings, or like sensory feelings, because I don't know how much of you know about like weighted blankets and things like that. They've got weighted blankets and sensory things like that for different autistic kids. And I'm wondering if that isn't like a kind of like gives him the sensation of what a weighted blanket would give him. He has had a weighted blanket before, and he didn't use it. He didn't like it. So, but so he's still doing that and everything, and it's just it's really challenging because he is like, his father's an empath, so he feels other people's feelings, and try and get this angle a little more right before I talk to you. Maybe I'll just hold it. Maybe it'll make me feel better. His dad's an empath. He reads other people's feelings, emotions, that type of thing. And so obviously, I think William gets that a lot from Troy, from his dad. And unfortunately, he's been feeling, I think, a lot of stress lately. Because, and I'm going to try not to break down, because I lost my mother in January of this year. She passed away January 29th, I believe. And I haven't spoken to my mother in a long time. I have my personal reasons for that. My children never met their grandma, so it didn't affect them in a typical way. But it obviously affected me. And even though my mom and I had our differences and things went down between us, no matter what happens in life, you can't ever change fact. And the fact was that she was my biological mother. She gave birth to me. She carried me in her stomach for 9 months. She, as she always reminded me, she was in labor for about 22 hours with me and had to have a C-section because I just refused to come. And growing up, she was my best friend. She and I were attached at the hip. I absolutely adored my mother, and she adored me. And so she was, like I said, my best friend growing up. And so even though I didn't talk to her for a long time before she passed, I had family members that would update me about her and be like, hey, she's in the hospital, she's not doing too good, you might want to come, say goodbye or whatever. because, again, of personal reasons and certain family, I didn't think I could. I just didn't feel welcome, and she and I would have needed a moment, and I don't believe we would have gotten that moment. So to try to make a long story short, with that's concerned, she passed away, and that was always my biggest childhood fear, was my mother's heart no longer beating, and now it's not, and I've had to deal with that, and it's been a struggle. I was on bereavement leave from work for about 3 days, so I was home a little bit more normal, and obviously, when you're mourning someone that you were close to, and you loved very, very, very much, all the way up until the end, no matter what happened, it makes you feel different, and it changes you. And so I have been feeling all kinds of weird feelings and emotions, and just trying to process all that, and William senses that, so we've been going through that, and Troy's had a couple of health issues, nothing too serious, thank goodness, but I had a health concern, but luckily I'm okay, and I'm gonna be okay, but there's just been a lot of stress, and we try to minimize it. We try to put a band-aid on it, for lack of better wording, and deal with it, but you can't hide genuineness, and so William has been having to put up with a lot of that. And let me see real quick, kind of multitask a little bit. Let me see if I can. Okay, so I can't turn my camera around, but there he is. I still don't think he's sleeping, but anyway, that's Aiden, biggest brother, laying with him. And then I do want to share with you a mailer that I got in the mail. Like I said, I don't know how much everyone knows about the organization called Spark. Basically, it is a research group that they're all about autism research, and what they do is they will they are for anyone and everyone on the spectrum and their families. And what they like to do, if they just like to get they'll send questionnaires to people with autism. They'll have their guardian, if they can't, or guardian or parent, or if they can't answer it themselves, they'll have someone representing them answer the questionnaire for them. And they're all about autism research, because they, every single person on the spectrum is different. There are no two people alike, and more and more people these days are getting diagnosed with autism. And you do have to have, I do know you do have to have a an official diagnosis from a doctor for autism. So while I'm on this subject, I will say, if there's anyone out there that works for the Spark organization, if you want to sponsor a video and be a future sponsor of mine, I will be more than happy to share more about you. I know more about you, but I don't want to say too much, because maybe scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, type of thing. So if there's anyone out there that works for Spark, and you, like I said, you want me to sponsor, you want to send information for me specifically to talk about, whatever the case is, I'm open to that. So FYI, heads up, wink, wink, whatever you want to say. But I did, like I said, get a mailer in the mail, and I want my purpose with this channel, as you guys should know by now, is to spread autism awareness. Autism awareness for me is hugely important, because I obviously have 2 kids on the spectrum, and both my kids, as I've said in the past, they're different. No 2 people are alike on the spectrum. And like Christopher, he is extremely emotional, which that's his autism superpower. William, he's nonverbal. That's part of his autism superpower. And there are millions of people on the spectrum, and they're all different, they're all unique, they're all special, they're all extremely strong and smart. So I wanted to read you just a couple stories, just to kind of get a little bit better idea of a couple more cases on the spectrum. I'm going to read you a story about Miles. It says, Miles created a buzz when he auditioned for the music program at Florida High School. He arrived with piano, music, and a teacher aide to help him follow direction. Then his story is as follows. It was obvious that he was very musically talented, but it was very difficult to communicate with him during an audition. Let's see. Said the program director of a Florida high school. The program had never had a student who was as far as the autism spectrum as Miles, and it honestly made everyone nervous. They were not anxious about Miles, but rather about their lack of experience teaching a student like him, he explains. Autism occurs along a wide spectrum, and Miles has a particular mix of strengths and challenges. He speaks in short sentences and struggles to answer questions about his day. At the piano bench, however, he does not miss a note. His fingers glide effortlessly over the keys. The audition for years ago landed Miles a place in the competitive program, which resembles a college-level conservatory for performing arts. Staff knew that they would need to push themselves to help Miles reach his potential. Again, it's almost like they have special talents, special superpowers, whatever you want to call them, because like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard of parents saying, oh, well, like one of them's a math whiz, or, they lined up their toys in a line perfectly. Like, there's so many, like, he struggles with speech and with sentences. He struggles with interacting with people. But however, when he's on the piano, he does not miss a beat, and this is coming from a Florida high school. Now I'm not going to show his picture, but he looks like a teenager, but like well advanced, from his years. Like, it's crazy. It's very interesting. And then this other story is about Cammie. It says the Austins suspected that their middle child, Cammie, had autism, but her teachers and doctor did not. Perhaps it was because Cammie did not fit the traditional picture of someone with autism. Cammie is talkative, female, and black. It says Cammie was one of only half of a handful of black children in her small rural school district, says her mother, Kristen. Kristen worried that if she kept pushing the school to evaluate her daughter for autism, it might affect how teachers would view other black girls. The family moved to a larger, more diverse area where Cammie could get the help she needed. Cammie's new school diagnosed her with autism in 2021. The desire to help others like Cammie led led her parents to Spark, the largest research and study of autism. Let's see. Kristen, as a professor professor with a doctorate in education. As she learns more about autism, she realized that the studies often did not include girls of color. The family joined Spark to help that change. They provided DNA, which is something you can do. They provided DNA samples to Spark researchers who are looking for more genes that cause autism, so we can better understand how the brain works differently in individuals with autism. Let's see. Cammie is the second child and the only daughter of Kristen. Let's see. From infancy throughout her toddler years, Cammie slept very little. We can relate. Maybe just for a few hours a night, and usually not in one stretch. Cammie's doctor didn't worry because she was a happy child who was seamlessly unaffected by lack of sleep. She has always been an incredible, loving, and vibrant child, Kristen says. but that did not relieve her worry about Cammie's sleep pattern. Brain development at that age takes place during sleep, she says. As Cammie grew, her parents saw that she struggled with social skills, attention, and behavior. Two preschools that she had attended also noticed they each found her behavior to be too disruptive for them. Kristen expressed her concerns about Cammie's school problems, or excuse me, social problems, but Cammie's many strengths derailed those conversations. So that's the other struggle that caregivers and parents face is, like social anxiety and interacting with others and things like that. This world is incredibly cruel, and honestly, we shouldn't have to worry about our children in public schools, but we do. So we have to send, our kids to private schools, with teachers that would teach them, that have been taught to learn, to help people with abilities like that, and with a diagnosis like that. I feel that if you're a teacher, you should be taught to deal and help everyone, whether they're on the spectrum, whether they got Down syndrome, whether they got whatever kind of diagnosis they have. They need to be trained to be able to help whatever student's dealing with in their daily life, whatever they're diagnosed with. I think there are certain criteria that teachers should have to be taught. I believe they should be taught in every kind of field, like giving nutshell training so they can teach, kids on a wider scale. I know when I was growing up, there was like 25 to 30 kids in a classroom, and I think it's still the same way today. My kids are virtual, so, we don't have to deal with that. But, there are way too many kids in the classroom. There's only one teacher, and that's a lot to deal with as far as that's concerned. So those are just a few stories, like I said, of, different people on the spectrum. It amazes me how wide the spectrum is and how every single person on the spectrum is so different. They're so unique. They're so special. They're so incredibly smart and strong and just different. And, honestly, it's like, I know that a lot of parents too, like they ask God, why, why have you done this to me? Why have you done this to my child? Blah, 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 blah. It's not a curse. And I'm on several Facebook pages, on several groups on Facebook, for autism awareness and support groups and things like that. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen this type of post. And it's not a punishment. Is it a challenging way of life? Absolutely. Our kids don't come with instruction manuals. No one does. But I've also seen multiple posts where it says, God only makes the strongest people autism parents. And what was it, Instagram the other day, I saw a post saying, how typical parents couldn't do what autism parents do. If you love your child and you want the best for your child, and, you would do anything for them to make sure they're happy, healthy, and safe, you've got the ability to do what we do. And I've said before that, you can't understand autism completely unless you live it. You can sympathize, you can pray, but until you live it on a daily basis, please don't tell us, exactly what we're going through or whatever, because you really don't. I didn't until I got autistic kids, so I just, I pray that, I know we all have our good and bad days. When William sleeps all day and is awake all night, it's obviously extremely challenging for him and my husband and I. It's exhausting. Luckily, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen, enough, and my husband and my concern isn't our own health. It's how he's feeling. I know, like, whenever he does sleep like this, though, whenever we have to kind of turn our human clocks around, our body clocks around, and, follow his sleeping pattern, I feel like crap because, it's like you just feel weird when you sleep all day and are awake all night. And so I know how I feel, doing that. And I can only imagine how William feels, with all of his things that he deals with on a daily basis anyways, not being able to communicate, sometimes looking like you are going to crawl out of your own skin, can't settle down, whatever. He deals with all that on a daily basis. And honestly, him and Christopher are my heroes because of what, how their little brains think, and, just being the amazing kids that they are. But I just really want people to just stop, and instead of saying why, so just thank God for your blessings, because I'll tell you what, having kids on the spectrum has, really opened my eyes and taught me a lot. It's taught me even more so to be thankful for the small things, for the small victories, for the little steps that we make. And, I take nothing for granted. I thank God for every precious second, because that's exactly what it is. It's precious. It's not a punishment, to live this journey, to be on this journey. It's a blessing, and even my own husband struggles with that. Sometimes I struggle with that because, we just want the best for our kids. And sometimes we look at them and we're like, he's really struggling right now. And especially in William's case, he can't communicate, he can't talk, so it's like, okay, he's going through a meltdown, he's screaming, he knows exactly what he wants, but we don't, because he can't tell us with his voice, so we're like, how in the world, how can this be a blessing? Even in those hard times, it is a blessing, because, when it comes right down to it, and sometimes even if your child can't communicate with his voice, sometimes they don't want to tell you exactly what's wrong. Sometimes they, for whatever reason, but, that can happen with anybody, not just with someone that can't communicate, through their voice. So the spectrum is obviously a wide range of people, and that's why it is imperative that everyone, you, your mother, your brother, your father, everyone, your family, your friends, your community, everyone practices kindness, because you just don't know what the other person's going through, on the spectrum, off the spectrum, with Down syndrome, without Down syndrome, any kind of diagnosis, or typical people. We're all going through something. And so we need to practice kindness, because, we just don't know what the other person's going through. And I personally would rather be a blessing in someone's life rather than something that they, dread, or something that makes them feel bad, or God knows what. But I also wanted to, like I said, if anybody out there is working for Spark, and you want me to, and you're going to sponsor a video, I'm all up for that. So you can send me information, and I can get into more detail about what I know about Spark, or you can send me specific material you want me to talk about. But, like I said, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I have noticed and sometimes I'll get comments. Number one, on comments, I absolutely love comments. I love interacting with you guys. I love hearing your guys' feedback, and, just your little messages. Everything. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, because YouTube does not alert me when I get comments. Like, it doesn't come in my notifications. If I go to the comments area, I'll see that someone's left something. So if I haven't gotten back to you in a while, or, like in one case, I think it was like 6 days and I hadn't said anything, I am so sorry. I will monitor that a lot better, and I will either like, love, or comment. I'm new to the comment part of it, so I'm not really sure what exactly the difference between a like and a heart on a comment is, but if I have to do both, I'll do both, but I'll definitely do one or the other. And most of the time I do reply back. So thank you for your comments that I've gotten. Really appreciate it. Please keep them coming. And like I said, I will be checking them a lot more, but I'm sorry if it's been a minute and I haven't gotten back to you. Okay, my exciting goal. All right, so let's see, in 1 week from yesterday, it will be my first year on YouTube. I am so excited. I am so close to getting 100 subscribers that it's crazy. I don't know if I can make my goal in a week of getting 100 subscribers by my year anniversary, but that's where you guys come in. It's possible with with God, anything's possible, so it can be done, but obviously I need you guys. I need you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. I need you guys to share this channel, to share the link. I need you guys to like so I can get out there. And, you know, from my experience, I think I've seen that shorts are shorts are easier for people to find, I guess. So that's why I made a ton of shorts. Plus the fact that shorts are easier for me to create because, you know, I have to have certain settings for videos. But yeah, I am almost there. And if I can get 100 subscribers by my year here in a week, oh my gosh, I will like be so ecstatic. It's not even funny. And so that would be great. Also, I have to get better at reminding you guys to turn on notifications for when I upload because I'm so bad at that. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, like, subscribe, yada yada, that type of thing, share, whatever. But I hardly ever tell you guys to remember to hit the notification bell. So, please hit the notification bell when you subscribe. And also, one last thing, I do have a poll right now on my community page that I just put up yesterday. I am trying to get the swing of like my intro and my outro and my kind of speech lingo here on my channel and everything. So I would like your guys' feedback on that. It was fun creating the poll, so I'm really excited to see what the results will be with that. But yeah, so that's a little family update. We can go in real quick and see what Williard's up to. I'm hoping to see if I can see. Oh, nope. Oh boy. You're still up, huh, Bubba? Let's see if I can get you here. Say hi, YouTube. Say I'm sleepy, aren't I? Yeah. Can you blow me a kiss? Can you give mommy a kiss? Thank you. I know, but you need to go to bed, huh? Alright, well. Oh, get back up here. So, like I said, that's all for now. I just wanted to kind of get all that out there. As everyone knows, we have one more week left, I think, of Autism Awareness Month, and I have to say that obviously this month holds a very special place in my heart. But I want to get it to where Autism Awareness is 365 days a year. Because as grateful as I am for Autism Awareness Month, as grateful as I am for April 2nd, Autism Awareness Day, you know, autism exists all the time, all year round, you know, and it shouldn't be specific to just 1 month or 1 day. So, like I said, if we spread kindness as much as we can and do our part to make someone's day better, even if it's just for 2 minutes, you know, that may not spread awareness about autism, but it'll certainly make someone's day better. So, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload. And help me reach my goal of 100 in a week. We can do that, right? I know we can. I know we can. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know we can. If I don't, no, you know, I'm not going to be heartbroken. Maybe God will teach me a lesson in this. Who knows? I know, I pray I'll make 100 eventually because my goal is obviously to grow this channel. And, you know, but I know, you know, I made a post or a video, I think it was, when I hit 50. And I'll make a post when I hit 100, and so on and so forth. You have to have 100, you know, before you have 200. You have to have 200 before you have 300, and so on. So, anyway, like and subscribe, turn on notifications, you know, be patient. If you send me a comment, I will get back to you, and just have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. God's peace.